So this video is more about Parliament. Firstly, how does it pass laws? There's a few key terms we need to define first. An act, a proposal that has completed the process and has now become law. A bill, a proposal that hasn't yet completed the process. A green paper, a government document setting out options for legislation and inviting comment. A public bill, a proposal concerning a general issue of public policy. And a white paper, a government document setting out a detailed proposal for legislation. So, the process of a proposal becoming an actual law. Usually the bill will start in the House of Commons. At the first reading, the title of the bill will be read out, but there's no debate or vote here. This comes at the second reading. The relevant minister will explain and justify the bill, and the shadow minister will respond with contributions from backbenchers. If the bill is contested, a vote will be taken, but government defeats at this stage are rare. After the second reading, the bill is sent to the relevant committee. The committees are made up of MPs from all parties. Their membership reflects the composition of the House. They scrutinise every clause and add possible amendments. A new committee is made for each bill. At the report stage, amendments made in the committee are reported to the House in full, which may accept, reject, or alter them further. Finally, at the third stage, there is a debate on the amended bill. Then, the bill enters the House of Lords, where it goes through the same stages again, but in the upper chamber. If amendments are made here, the Commons may agree, reject, or amend them further. If the Commons agrees, the bill is sent for royal assent. If not, the Commons can pass the bill through after a year. Most bills come from government ministers, but there is a procedure for backbenchers to introduce them as well. Some of the most famous ones were the abolition of the Death Penalty Act and the Abortion Act. How is government scrutinised? There are a number of ways. Question time? Not the one on TV, but each minister has a time slot in the Commons to face questions from their shadow minister and backbench MPs. The most high-profile one is Prime Minister's questions. Generally, this isn't that effective, since most ministers attempt to embarrass their counterparts rather than scrutinise them. The opposition, the largest party not in government, is the official opposition. They oppose the government on most proposals and attempt to appear as an alternative government in waiting. Debates. MPs can express their views through the debates in the Commons. Select committees. These are very effective at scrutinisation. Each department has its own committee to scrutinise its policy, expenditure and administration. The committees are made up of MPs and reflect the balance of the Commons. They're more constructive than confrontational and often strike compromises across party lines. Committees and their chairs have a reputation for independence which can cause unease among party leaders. And the House of Lords. Since the Lords was reformed in 1999, removing most of the hereditary peers, the Chamber has become more confident in its own scrutinisation of the government, with over 400 defeats inflicted in recent years. There is no party majority, which means the government must win cross-party support, and backbench support from the Commons limits the government's ability to overturn their decisions. Because of the nature of our voting system, we tend to have majority governments. This means that the largest party in the House, the government, has a majority of seats in the House. The larger the majority, the easier it is to get their legislation passed. We've occasionally had minority governments, where the largest party in the House did not have a majority of seats, and so had to rely on the support of other parties to pass legislation. Right now, we have a coalition government, where two parties, although we could have more, have reached a formal agreement on a programme of legislation and the distribution of ministerial posts. In the next video, I'm going to talk about some of the problems with our parliamentary system.